Spain has a desert that Hollywood used to film the American Wild West. Spain has a piece of land in Africa. Spain has an island that is technically still growing, right now, because of a volcano that erupted less than 5 years ago. And somewhere in the mountains of northern Spain, there is a village that legally belongs to Spain, but is completely surrounded, on every single side, by France. This is not a list of quirky trivia. This is a country whose geography breaks its own rules again and again, in ways almost nobody outside it ever learns. Over the next 25 minutes, we're counting down 30 facts about Spain so strange, so specific, and so real that you will never look at a map of Europe the same way again. Stay until the end. Fact number 1 might be the single strangest border on planet Earth. Let's start with the fact most people never learn in school. A piece of Spain isn't in Europe at all. Fact 1. Spain has land in Africa. 2 Spanish cities, Ceuta and Melilla, sit physically on the African continent, sharing a land border with Morocco. They've been Spanish territory for over 500 years, which means Spain is the only country in the European Union with a real, permanent land border with Africa. Fact 2. Only 8 miles from another continent. At its narrowest point, the Strait of Gibraltar separates Spain from Morocco by just 8 miles of open water. On a clear day, you can stand on a Spanish beach and see the mountains of Africa with your naked eye. Fact 3. A Spanish rock guarded by monkeys. Just across the strait sits the Rock of Gibraltar, technically British territory, but geologically and geographically part of the Iberian Peninsula. It's home to the only wild monkey population in all of Europe, the Barbary macaque, which legend says must never leave, or British rule over the rock will end. Fact 4. Spain's own Sahara. In the southeast corner of Spain lies the Pyrenees Desert, the only true desert in mainland Europe. It's so convincingly barren that dozens of classic Hollywood westerns, including films with Clint Eastwood, were filmed here instead of Arizona. Fact 5. Snow and beach, same afternoon. In southern Spain, it's possible to ski down snow-covered slopes in the Sierra Nevada mountains in the morning, then drive less than an hour and swim in the warm Mediterranean Sea by the afternoon. One of the only places on Earth where that's genuinely true. Spain's islands are stranger than the mainland, volcanic, growing, and in one case, still actively on fire beneath your feet. Fact 6. An island that grew bigger in 2021. When the Cumbre Vieja volcano erupted on the Canary island of La Palma in 2021, lava poured into the Atlantic Ocean for months, cooling into solid rock and physically adding new land to the island's coastline. Spain, quite literally, got a little bit bigger. Fact 7. Spain's tallest mountain isn't in Spain's mountains. The highest point in all of Spain isn't in the Pyrenees or the Sierra Nevada. It's Mount Tide, a volcano on the island of Tenerife, standing over 12,000 feet tall. Measured from the ocean floor to its summit, it's actually the 3rd tallest volcano on Earth, after Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa in Hawaii. Fact 8. A lunar landscape powered by underground fire. On the island of Lanzarote, an entire national park called Tamanfaya still radiates heat from volcanic eruptions that happened in the 1730s. Rangers demonstrate it by pouring water into a hole in the ground. It shoots back out seconds later as scalding steam. Fact 9. Beaches that look like the Caribbean, in Europe. Off the coast of Galicia in northern Spain sit the Seas Islands, a national park with turquoise water and white sand so vivid that The Guardian once ranked its beach the best in the world, despite sitting in the cold Atlantic, not the tropics. Fact 10. An island with no cars allowed. El Hierro, the smallest of the Canary Islands, aims to run entirely on renewable wind and water power, and much of it remains so remote and untouched that some of its coastal roads have never needed a single traffic light. Borders are supposed to be simple lines on a map. Spain has some of the strangest ones in the world. Fact 11. A piece of Spain trapped inside France. Deep in the Pyrenees Mountains sits Livia, a Spanish town completely surrounded by French territory on all sides, the result of a 17th century treaty that named 33 specific villages to be handed to France, and Livia, technically a town and not a village, slipped through the wording entirely. Fact 12. Spain's time zone is technically wrong. Based purely on its geographic longitude, Spain should share the same time zone as Portugal and the UK. Instead, it runs an hour ahead, a decision made in 1940 to align with Nazi Germany's clock, which Spain simply never reversed. To this day, Spanish workdays run later than the sun suggests they should. Fact 13. A river that vanishes underground. In central Spain, the Guadiana River simply disappears, sinking into limestone caverns and flowing underground for miles before resurfacing further downstream. For centuries, locals called the reappearance point the Eyes of the Guadiana, believing the river had returned from the underworld. Fact 14. Europe's second most mountainous country. After Switzerland, Spain is the second most mountainous country in Europe. Nearly half of its entire landmass sits above 2,000 feet, including the Meseta Central, a vast interior plateau roughly the size of the entire United Kingdom. Fact 15. Sahara dust turns Spanish skies orange. Several times a year, powerful winds carry massive clouds of Saharan sand directly across the Mediterranean, turning skies over Madrid and southern Spain a thick, hazy orange, coating cars and streets in a fine layer of African desert dust. Locals simply call it La Calima. Some corners of Spain look so unnatural that visitors regularly assume they've been digitally altered. They haven't. Fact 16. The stone maze of Torcal de Antequera. In southern Spain, 150 million years of erosion carved a limestone plateau into a surreal maze of stacked, twisted rock towers, so disorienting that hikers are given color-coded trail markers just to avoid getting permanently lost inside it. Fact 17. A desert of red badlands in Granada. Near the village of Garraf in southern Spain sits a landscape of deep red-orange ravines and eroded badlands so dramatic and alien-looking. It's now one of Europe's largest official starlight reserves, protected specifically for how clearly the night sky can be seen above it. Fact 18. Spain has glaciers. Tucked into the high Pyrenees, on the slopes of Monte Perdido, Spain still holds onto a handful of small surviving glaciers, some of the southernmost glacial ice remaining anywhere in Europe, though scientists warn most could disappear entirely within decades. Fact 19. A volcanic national park colored like Mars. Cabo de Gata in southeastern Spain is a protected volcanic park where black, red, and ochre-colored cliffs meet the deep blue Mediterranean, formed by volcanic activity millions of years ago and left almost entirely undeveloped, unlike most of Spain's coastline. Fact 20. A gorge so deep it splits a town in two. The town of Ronda in southern Spain sits split directly in half by a canyon nearly 400 feet deep, connected only by a single stone bridge built in the 18th century. A construction so difficult that the bridge's original architect reportedly fell to his death during its building. Spain isn't just one climate. It's nearly all of them, crammed into a single peninsula. Fact 21. One country, almost every climate on Earth. Spain contains desert, Mediterranean coastline, Atlantic rainforest-like woodland, high alpine mountains, and semi-arid steppe, making it one of the only countries in the world where nearly every major European climate type exists within a single national border. Fact 22. Spain's rainiest corner feels nothing like Spain. While southern Spain bakes under near-desert sun, the northwestern region of Galicia receives more rainfall annually than London, feeding lush green hills, dense forests, and dramatic fjord-like coastal inlets called rias that look more like Norway than the Spain most tourists picture. Fact 23. A delta slowly being swallowed by the sea. The Ebro Delta, one of the largest wetlands in the Mediterranean, is sinking and shrinking due to reduced sediment flow from upstream dams, threatening rice paddies, unique bird habitats, and entire villages built on land that scientists say may not exist in its current form within a century. Fact 24. Europe's most extreme temperature swings. In parts of inland Spain, particularly the region of Aragon, summer temperatures can exceed 110 degrees Fahrenheit, while winter nights regularly drop below freezing, one of the largest seasonal temperature ranges recorded anywhere on the entire European continent. Fact 25. A wetland so important it has its own national park. Doñana National Park in southern Spain protects one of Europe's most critical wetland ecosystems, a resting point for millions of migratory birds traveling between Europe and Africa, But the marshland is now shrinking due to nearby agricultural water use, threatening one of the continent's last true wild frontiers. We save these 5 for last, because they reveal something bigger than any single fact: just how much of Spain's geography quietly defies the expectations built into its own borders. Fact 26. The highest capital city in the European Union. Madrid sits over 2,100 feet above sea level, making it the highest elevation capital city in the entire European Union, high enough that its dry mountain air creates blistering summer heat and genuinely cold winter nights, a climate more like Denver than most people expect from Spain. Fact 27. Spain's least populated region is bigger than some countries. Extremadura, a region bordering Portugal, covers over 16,000 square miles, larger than the entire country of Israel, yet holds barely over 1 million residents, making parts of it feel almost entirely empty compared to the rest of densely built Western Europe. Fact 28. More UNESCO World Heritage Sites than almost any nation. Spain holds one of the highest numbers of UNESCO World Heritage Sites on Earth, trailing only Italy and China, packing an extraordinary density of protected natural and cultural landscapes into a country roughly the size of Texas. Fact 29. An entire mountain range as a border. The Pyrenees don't just separate Spain from France. They form one of the most complete and continuous natural mountain borders anywhere in Europe, stretching nearly 270 miles from the Atlantic to the Mediterranean almost entirely without a break. Fact 30. Spain sits on 2 tectonic plates. The Iberian Peninsula sits at the collision point between the Eurasian and African tectonic plates, the same slow-motion pressure that pushed up the Pyrenees millions of years ago, and the same pressure that still causes occasional earthquakes in southern Spain today. Geologically, Spain isn't just a country. It's the visible seam between 2 continents, quietly grinding against each other beneath your feet. 30 facts. 1 country. A desert built for cowboys. An island still growing. A town trapped inside another nation entirely. Spain isn't just a place on a map. It's a country built directly on top of the fault line between 2 continents, shaped by fire, water, and time in ways almost nobody outside it ever gets taught. If this changed the way you see Spain, hit subscribe, because we go deeper into the strangest geography on Earth every single week. Which fact surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments. Fact 30 or Fact 6? We'll see you in the next one.